We've been also joined by a member of the NDC Legal and Communications team, Ni Kpapo Samoa Ado, who is legal representative for the person challenging the legitimacy of this seat, and that happens to be the NPP NDC Member of Parliament in the 2024 election. Now we are being told that if you follow this case, you will know that he challenged the legitimacy of the seat in December 29, 2024, and now the court has ruled on it. Counsel, good morning and welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning to your listeners.
Yes, news coming in, and I'm sure you, being counsel for the plaintiff, you are satisfied with the ruling of the court. Can you give us a brief backstory to this case?
Okay, so I was in court. The judgment will be ready on Friday, but then the orders were made today. And we want to thank the court. I want to thank the legal team that I led, myself, Musa Mohammed, Eugene Aweti, George Kojo Adabaja. Yes, this was the legal team that I was honored to lead in this particular election petition. Now, the election petition was anchored basically on the premise of these facts. Now, after the election in the Kpandai constituency at the police stations, there was a collation exercise that was to take place at the collation center. Now, every constituency has designated a collation center for the purposes of the parliamentary elections and even the presidential elections. Now, with respect to the parliamentary elections, on the onset of the collation exercise, there were disturbances. Now, you see, the collation center serves a couple of purposes, some of which include the ability of a candidate to challenge the results of any polling station and to even ask for a recount, including the verification of the biometric system, among others. So, when any issue happens at the collation center, at the police station, within the rules of the CI, it is made clear that when there's a disturbance at the police station, you can ask the proceedings can be adjourned to the next day or even adjourned by a week. And logic says that this will definitely apply in the situation where the same happens at the collation center because the rules are similar. Now, you had a rogue district election officer who decided that he was going to be biased and was effectively going to relocate and redesignate the collation center without notice to the NDC candidate. So the NDC candidate did not even know and was never made aware that there had been a relocation of the collation center to another place and therefore could not participate. The law is that the collation exercise must be done in the presence of the candidate unless they voluntarily decide not to be present. Now, if you didn't give the person notice and you go ahead and take actions that affect his rights, you clearly breach his right to be heard. And so the petitioner mounted his petition that everything that had happened at the new collation center was an invalid exercise. And on the strength of even the fact that a lot of the biometric machines were destroyed, among others. But we are waiting for the full reasoning of the court. But that is the argument that we took to the court. And the court upheld the argument. That's clearly on the strength of the evidence that we had produced before the court. And what was even more outrageous was you had the district election officer who specifically made allegations against the petitioner, that the petitioner was the one who brought elements to come and cause the mayhem and all that, and that he had him on video. When he was put under cross-examination, he couldn't even produce a cylinder of evidence to show that this was the petitioner engaged in any such act. So one of the things that we have asked the NDC to do is to petition against that district election officer. He has no business being, he is the cause of all these problems. And obviously, the FPP candidate was simply a beneficiary of whatever had happened. So he could not legitimately claim that he had been elected.
Nick Papo, was the Electoral Commission represented in court, and what were their arguments?
They were in court. They took part in the entire case. And it was just funny that today they were not in court.
What were their arguments as the case was ongoing?
Were that they had done a legitimate exercise and that there was no problem. That was the argument before the court. So
we are also being told that the concerns you raised was that there was a breach of the Public Elections Regulation 2020 CI 127.
Yes, there were breaches of those provisions, and we combined that with the argument that our fundamental right to be heard in respect of being told about what was going to happen at the redesignation of the of the Collations Center was denied. And so anything that happened there was a nullity. That breach of the fundamental human rights of a party renders all proceedings and everything founded on that as a nullity.
Interesting. The pushback, Council, again, the pushback from your opponents really was that a lot of the issues we were raising amounted to administrative errors and did not necessarily affect the actual votes, the vote count for each. Council, let me ask the question. Let me ask the question and you answer. So again, the point is that these are mainly administrative issues and do not necessarily reflect in the vote count. Does it come to you as a surprise?
I'm telling you that is an absurd argument. You cannot build on an illegality and expect to have a legal result. That's what will happen. You breach the laws that govern the procedure that govern the collation of the election results, and yet you want to legitimize the outcome and say that based on the outcome you declare in breach of the fundamental laws, we should accept those results. How can you build or lay a foundation of illegality and expect that you are going to reap something illegal? It's not possible. And that's why the court upheld our petition.
In when this case became public, right, in December 2024, we were being told in your original suit by your client, Mr. Wakpao, that so you had issues with Form 8A, right, and 41 out of a total of 152 polling stations had issues. So in excess of about 100 plus polling stations were okay. When you do the maths, do you get the sense that the result could have gone other way if these polling stations didn't have issues?
You see, there's a problem with the logic in respect of that. We presented what we were going to raise as issues with the election results and irregularities that we intended to raise at the Collations Center. Now, if we had the opportunity to do a thorough, an audit of the entire process, clearly there could have been more. But to deny us the opportunity to even make our case at the Collations Center and to go ahead and declare results in breach of our fundamental human right to be heard and in breach of the CI itself, renders your entire exercise a nullity. And that is what the court is about.
So are we expecting a rerun in these 41 constituencies or in the entirety of the constituency? In the 41 polling stations?
The order of the court is that there will be a rerun in the entire constituency.
Wow. So this is even more than what you were asking for in your original suit, because I'm looking at it here and you were calling for a rerun in these 41 affected polling stations. So
we asked for a rerun in the entire election. Look at our release properly. We asked for a rerun in the entire constituency. It was one of the relief that we asked for. That in the wisdom of the court, if the court found out that fundamentally the exercise that was undertaken was a nullity, you cannot ground anything on it. You have to order a rerun of the entire thing.
When are you expecting official communication from the Electoral Commission?
Well, the Electoral Commission has to be served with the orders of the court. And that is what we are doing right now. We are the registry of the court getting copies of the order. Once we serve them with the orders of the court, they have 30 days to comply.
Interesting. Then from there, a date to be set for fresh elections, I believe. Interesting.
Sovereignty lies to the people. And so if the people retain the same MP, so be it. It will not be the first time.
Interesting. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Lawyer Kpandai Samoa Ado, who's a member of the NDC legal team and also counsel or lead lawyer for Mr. Daniel Wakpao, who was the 2024 NDC parliamentary candidate for the Kpandai constituency. The big news story coming in is that the court has ordered for a rerun in that particular constituency, and I'm referring to the parliamentary election, over issues raised with pink sheet anomalies and other irregularities. We are being told that the election